What's up, everybody? Welcome to Road to BlizzCon. Welcome to more Heroes of the Storm. We have Virtus Pro going up against NaVi today in the losers bracket of the second qualifier. The teams, they are already qualified for the final in Prague, but there's still 25,000 on the line here in this tournament. Quite a bit of money, especially for a qualifier, of course, and both of them are going to fight it out in this best of 3 series, and they're going to bring their A game. Game number 1 is on KhaldorTV. We have NaVi going up against Virtus Pro. That's always a pleasure, and of course, once again, we are in the newest patch, but we do not have the Monk in this tournament. Kharazim is not allowed. It's just a bit too soon. He'll be allowed next week, but at this point, he is not in the tournament here. So guys, let's not waste any time. We all know that these teams are amongst the best in Europe, and we're going to jump in right away to find out how they are going to adjust to the new patch and which team is going to take the lead here on KhaldorTV. Game number 1, everybody, in our series here in the losers bracket at the Road to BlizzCon tournament. We have Virtus Pro going up against NaVi. These two teams have already qualified for the event in the first qualifier, but of course there's quite a lot of prize money on the line, 25,000 to be exact, and right now they are still fighting their way through the bracket to gain as much of that money as they possibly can. To the left side of the map in our first game in the best of 3 series, we're seeing NaVi with Splendor on Uther. We have Alex the Frog on Johanna, JPL on Vala, Eternal on Murden, and Schwimpy on Tyrande. There's Sniper Comp for NaVi, whereas to the right side of the map we have the Russian team with BKB on Tyrael, Sevgar on Malfurion, Unstable on Jaina, Andilendi on Zagara, and Kuni-chan on Nuburak. I'm Khaldor, and with me is of course Tetchan. We're going to bring you the coverage here at the Road to BlizzCon loser bracket.
Speaking of Kuni-chan, he actually started off the game with a tiny bit less health as he was owl sniped before the gate opened.
Wow, that'd be it. Talent-wise, we have some really nice choices here at the beginning of the game. Apparently, Virtus Pro is trying to burst down some structures here, going for Demolitionist on Zagara, and they are also running this with Shandor's Clarity on the side of Malfurion, so we're going to see a lot of innovates, not only on Andilendi Zagara, but also probably on Unstable Zero, and that means that we could even see Malfurion go into the second innovate talent on level 4 instead of the increased range on basic abilities, or of course what you can also consider the rampant growth, which got buffed in the last patch.
Yeah, you can still use that, sorry about that. But yeah, you can definitely get a huge amount of mana out of that, which can allow Jaina to be a lot more powerful in these long extended tribute fights, as she can just spam out her abilities a lot more, which you can't really do otherwise. The creep sees Eternal coming in there, and as such he has to clear it, and it allows Unstable, Sevgar, and Andilendi to back up.
If you're currently watching the video, then one thing that you need to know is that Kharazim is not allowed. The Monk is not allowed in this tournament. It's just a little bit too soon for him to enter the tournament stage. The teams are still playing on the new patch, of course. And in this case now, we're having, especially on the side of NaVi, a setup that is highly relying on stuns and chain CC. They're gonna try and use that in every single fight here. And for Tyrande, it probably also means that we are very likely to see Searing Arrows taken on level 4, since they are a bit short on damage. They're already trying to use that CC right there against Zagara, but there's just no follow-up damage, and Uther just couldn't close the distance since he was rooted to apply a third stun.
Yeah, but very solid route there from Sevgar. Really nice defensive ability there.
Yeah, so now we have, again, with the top lane, most of the action happening right there. At the bot lane, it's just a battle between JPL and BKB. JPL is actually going to have a pretty tough time against Tyrael. Tyrael can be very, very annoying playing against Vala. He is a melee hero, but if he just throws out his Eldrin Smite and his Smite like over and over again, he puts so much pressure on Vala that it's very difficult for her to actually live through that. Sometimes you even see Vala players picking up the Vampiric Assault over the potential Manticore, which we see in this case, just to have more lane sustain if they feel that they're a bit outmatched on their lane.
We see the Nuburak here, instead of going for the Beetle talent, which we see most people going for at that level 4, going for the Underking, increasing the range and reducing the cooldown of his Burrow Charge.
There's also a lot of other things that we have to talk about, as that first tribute is still being fought over. There is no Searing Arrows actually for Schwimpy on his Tyrande. Instead they went into the Hunter talent. Well, actually they went in this case into the Owl talent, so Ranger on level 16 is very likely. It's a cool talent to have if you want to cancel out tribute channels on this map, but it doesn't really have the same amount of power that you can push out or direct target damage that you will see with these searing arrows. So NaVi feels very confident that despite that fact they will still be able to drop the targets during the team fights. Muradin, especially with Johanna, could go on level 13 for Burning Rage to apply a bit more damage during the fights, so that might be one of the adjustments that we are seeing there. And we already had Vala heading straight into that Manticore that I mentioned to make sure that she has so much damage that she can make up for the lack of overall DPS heroes in the team setup.
Speaking of DPS, though, Unstable instead. Oh, hang on, we're seeing a bit of an engage onto Zagara in the top lane here. She gets locked down and taken out. No more sapping tower ammo for the moment, but the minion wave is still pushing, and that will get the job done. But a talent I wanted to talk about was Envenom. Has been taken by Unstable here.
Yeah, Snowstorm is usually the talent that we see, and Venom was changed in the previous patch, not the one that just hit the servers, but even before that. And it's one of those talents that got nerfed quite a bit, so the duration has been prolonged, so the same damage is now done over 10 seconds instead of over 5, and that kind of makes the talent, I don't want to say useless, but not as attractive as it was before. But they want to go for a full damage build here on Jaina here, apparently, with level 7 Frostbitten now coming in. Big fight here at the bot lane, where JPL is now starting to put a lot of pressure onto BKB with those searing attacks that he has also on level 7. You have really nice fights going on the map now.
Yeah, Unstable and Andy Vendy has arrived back looking for an opportunity to try and take this tribute Hunter Killer, just delaying the timeout for a bit.
And up here at the top, the stun already against Malfurion, who went into Rampant Growth. The talent has been changed in the last patch. It has now 50% increased initial heal, which is pretty good actually. Can be nice, especially if you're dealing with a sniper comp, as we are seeing on the side of NaVi. Here comes the attack against the Nubarak. They're getting him really low. Eternal already had a jump out, and Alex is trying to get a drop on Malfurion, but the root saves him at least for now. But Schwimpy gets a stun, and oh my god, that last second heal. Sevka keeping himself alive.
Chan may not be so lucky though, drops the shield on himself, but Alex the Pro G's focuses him down and takes him down. However, Uther was dropped by VP in exchange here, and the tribute was taken by NaVi.
Yeah, and down to the bot lane, we already have the entire wall broken by Vala, so JPL doing an incredible job here against BKB, playing this really well. We have also a few additional talents now taken on the side of Anubarak that hint that he could even go for a talent on level 16 for the Epicenter. You don't see it too often, but he has the Bed of Barbs already. We're seeing him with Underking, as you already pointed out earlier, Tetcher. So going for a potential talent on 16 that will increase that stun radius, that would be kind of nice for them.
Yeah, going for a very CC focused build. Oh, JPL gets knocked up and down he goes. But yeah, this Bed of Barbs is another talent similar to the Pierce talent by Schwimpy here that's purely meant to interrupt tributes and make it a lot harder to take, as it is persistent damage in that tribute area.
Yeah, and talking about delaying tribute channels, there was another owl with Vala down. It's of course tricky for NaVi to really move into this, but they have their level 10s nearly ready, and BKB isn't looking all too healthy. Schwimpy is already still thinking about moving in. Here comes the level 10s right now. Already Avatar used on Eternal, and he's starting to jump in and forces Kuni-chan to borrow charge away. So they are going to get another tribute now. They have the early level 10 and they're capitalizing on the fact.
Yeah, and that is going to be 2 tributes to 1 in favor of NaVi. Virtuous Pro responding to this by heading straight back up to that top lane to begin re-pushing it. NaVi are on the way, but they're going to be a little late.
Yeah, to the top lane we see that 1 tower definitely going to go down. And in this case, the level 1 talent on the side of Andy Lendy hasn't really worked out for them, at least not in the early game. Demolitionist is something that they might be able to use later on when they are starting to push towers and structures in general as 4 or 5 people, but for now it didn't work out, and boys, we have a good one.
We do in fact have a good one. It is the Ring of Frost coming in on Jada, and this is a talent we don't see. It did have a cooldown reduction, and it can sometimes be comboed quite nicely with a Devouring Maw. There's the Web Blast already used here in the bot lane onto JPL. Can they get him once he is out of this? BKB here to try and body block. There's the Bolt, there's the Judgment, there's the knockup. JPL's trying to get away. He's on the right side of the wall, but BKB follows him over. Yeah,
BKB able to take him down. He's going to escape here as well. And we have indeed a Ring of Frost, and I cannot wait to see if they can capitalize on that. They already move in with Condemn. and the Maw has been used. No Ring of Frost just yet, but it was a massive cooldown reduction on the talent, as Tetcher already pointed out, so that makes it a bit more attractive for players to take the talent here. And well, as you can see, there is a curse now against Virtus Pro. NaVi was able to catch the third tribute, and therefore the curse now working against the Russian team, and that is currently being rewarded with a big push in the mid lane and trying to drop a couple of these towers.
Yeah, we can see Virtus Pro playing very defensively on that, with 3 people already pushing back Alex the Prodigy and Splendor. Kunichan now arriving as well. They've spotted Shrimpy. There's the Divine Shield, though. Will keep him alive. Now we're seeing Alex the Prodigy taking most of the damage. There's the Ring of Frost. Does not land. Everyone able to get out of that in time. And the Web Blast has been used on Muradin, but we're seeing NaVi move in to protect Muradin when he comes out.
Uh-oh, that's a horrible position right now for them to be in. What a nice strafe from JPL. He gets the entire strafe through it. Muradin locks down 2 with a piercing bolt, making sure that they can't escape out of the range. And with all of those heroic abilities on the side of Virtus Pro in cooldown, there was just no problem for NaVi to get all of this in. Very well played. They get a double kill. They take the fort in the mid lane. They definitely capitalized on that advantage that they had, even though JPL nearly dies to the fort.
Yeah, he nearly dies, but he is able to live and was able to secure those 2 kills there. Very good job. And this is the problem with Ring of Frost. You can't use it if you don't have something to set up with it, because people will just walk out of it. It's not like you're dodging that entire radius. You could dodge 2 ways, in or out. Take your pick.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about using the Water Elemental. It's just one of these... It's not really drop and forget, since you can also control it, of course, afterwards, but it's just like way easier to use because you can get guaranteed and safe damage out of that, and that is worth a lot in a very hectic team fight. BKB, thinking about jumping in? Nah, not quite. That would have been a bit suicidal. They don't have the level 13 talent. Now it drops, but it was a bit too late to really contest the Bruiser camp.
Andy Lendy, though, was spotted. There's the stun, but the Devouring Maw will allow him to escape. Very solid there. And that does force NaVi to really reconsider their engage. Shrimpy finds BKB, but doesn't land a stun. The Owl will stop him mounting, though.
Malfurion went into an ice block, so he did not decide to go for the life seed here. We only see him with 1 single healing talent. That's the Rampant Growth on level 4. On level 7, he went into his cleanse to cleanse out a bit of the stun that we're seeing from the opponent's team. But we have an imposing will for Tyrael, and there is also a second ice block on Jaina with a burning rage for an Uburak. And by the way, as we talked about it earlier, we have a double burning rage for Eternal and Alex the Pro G on level 13 because they need to supply some extra damage since they only rely on 1 gear damage dealer.
Judgment used on Shrimpy here. Divine Shield, though, instantly. Once again, Ring of Frost is dodged, and so much damage coming out. The Starfall helping out with this. BKB gets taken down. Sevkaja being chased, has to ice block, but he's completely surrounded, and he will get taken down. And that is 3 for 0 and a boss going over to NaVi. Not a great raid by Virtus Pro at all.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, Malfurion here behind enemy lines, quite literally. In this case, he couldn't do anything to escape once he used his ice block. He was just completely isolated. 3 heroes down, and now that boss barreling down the bot lane, while there's another camp in the mid lane occupying Zagara. So they are going to lose quite a few of the towers here. And at the same time, we're just seeing a move up to the top, taking boss number 2 by NaVi. They are easily going to get this one. Have a solid lead in experience. They get another tribute too. 7 kills against 3. They are playing a very, very good game here on the first map in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, and that was a slightly better Ring of Frost this time from Jaina, but you still didn't have enough setup for it, and NaVi were just too quick in the reactions. They've already proved how good they are at dodging at those long-range abilities when they played against old Kael'thas. They proved that over and over again that they were the master dodgeball players. And this time they actually have less of an area to dodge, or they do, but a larger area, but it's way more spread out, so they're having no trouble with this.
Yeah, the team fights in general not working out for Virtus Pro. I mean, they have a Maw, they have a Web Blast, there's a lot of talents where you can section off heroes from the opponent's team, but it doesn't really work out their way. They have to jump on... I don't really like that they jump on, especially Shrimpy the entire time. I think Vala is a much better target for them, since she has most of the damage for NaVi right now. Of course, Tyrande is very annoying with the Hunter's Mark and also the stun, but once that Vala is gone, or at least under pressure, there's very little that they can do to get the burst damage in. JPL delivers most of the single target damage, and especially those strafes have been spot on. They need somebody to really be on him, push him back, and also cancel out the strafe if he uses it.
Kunichan gonna attempt to sneak the tribute here, but NaVi already here will force him to back away here. And the rest of Virtus Pro nowhere near able to help out here. They are busy defending their mid lane.
And that allows, again, Na'Vi to move over to another Siege Giant camp, taking this one. So the Siege camp taken. The level 16 talent, of course, is a massive lead, again, that we are seeing for Na'Vi here. They will be in a position where it's quite easy for them to really win team fights because of that additional talent. Having that Ranger on level 16 also helps Tyrande with the damage, as we can see here. We're seeing Stoneform now taken, Benediction, great talents, and there's just no way that Virtus Pro is going to win a fight before they have their own 16 ready.
Nice teleport out there by BKB, making sure he wasn't caught. But yeah, they're not going to win a fight without their 16s. They're only like a third of a level away from it, so they're not in too bad a position, but they can't really split up to get that XP because of the pressure that Na'Vi is putting on their bot lane.
They might have to fight without the 16. I mean, they can still fight in the shadow of the keep, I suppose, but they are already losing hit points on it. They're trying to buy some time to get the next minion wave in. Only a few more minions, and they will hit that talent, and then Na'Vi has to be careful that the fight doesn't turn around against them. 16 is going to be there any second, but the Starfall is in play, and Na'Vi is doing so much work here already.
Strafe and Starfall, though, are now down, both of them used in exchange for Jaina's Ice Block. So, if Virtus Pro want to try and engage, now would be the time, but Na'Vi already in full retreat here. JPL even in the mid lane, soaking a bit of XP, and will join his team when he's needed. He needs to come down now. That owl spots everyone from Virtus Pro on the way, and he comes down to join his team.
Yeah, he starts to move in. We have now also Tenacious Roots taken on the side of Jaina. It is the northern exposure for the additional burst. They're trying to go for the tribute, and Na'Vi you could really see has a lot of respect for their 16 talents. They don't really want to fight here. And miss on Shrimpy stun. BKB is attempting to jump into the backline. If they don't get a guaranteed kill, he should wait with his judgment until Strafe has been used.
Yeah, unstable. Looking for an opportunity as well. He does have a very solid bit of CC if he can land it. For now, though, just denying it from longer range. And Na'Vi, they do want to try and take this, as it would allow them another curse. BKB being chased back by Alex the Pro G. The tribute once again denied by the roaches from Zagara.
Owl doesn't hit anything this time, and we still have an engagement against Andy Landy, but they're trying to push them back right now. Turtle up at the front line, gets stunned once again. BKB is still attempting to go into the back line, but Alex is protecting Vala here. Very good positioning for Alex. Here comes that Strafe. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, the judgment. Strafe not being used just yet, but here it comes, and oh my god, that timing works out so well for them. In comes BKB, but they heal on JPL. The Ring of Frost this time a bit better. Muradin is down, but we are also seeing Tyrael dying. And Na'Vi is trying to claim victory again with a very good Starfall here on the side of Shrimpy, and Anubarak just doesn't have the pressure that he needs to force Tyrande down.
Yeah, beautiful Starfall. Kudi-chan being focused down, and Malfurion being taken out as well. 1 for 5 in favour of Na'Vi. They'll get the curse and can now push in for a keep.
I really don't like the timings of Judgment from Tyrael. I really don't like it. He uses it way too early, and they need to keep it until Strafe has been used. JPL, the only thing that he had to do was wait for Tyrael to get a stun out. He waited also for Anubarak to get a stun in, and then he immediately used Strafe. It was enough damage. He was kept alive by Uther, and I get it complete that you want to jump in, you don't want to delay things too much, you want to take the opportunity, seize the day, but in this case it just turns against them every single time. They need one hero that just waits with his interrupt until Strafe has been popped, and they didn't do it in the last 3 team fights, and he lost every single one of them.
They actually did try to burst down Valor there, but with an incredible counterplay from Johanna. Johanna basically interrupted all of the follow-up with a Blessed Shield, so it was basically Judgment and then nothing, because Jaina, Zagara, everyone else was stunned by Blessed Shield. It was very well played.
Yeah, Alex on point with his heroics for sure on the hero. That's boss now though, and there's only one keep still alive. The boss up at the top lane is being attacked right now. I'm not even sure they can get that in time. They should just barely be able to. Alex is moving in now, and with Iron Skin he can move on the point. Eternal is about to jump in. They have the level 20s, and they're going straight for the point here. More has been used, and nearly the kill, but there's the heal and the Divine Shield, and Na'Vi can fight for it.
Ring of Frost doesn't land on anyone. Eternal still tanking in this area. Sevkusha has to back up, but he gets taken down by the Starfall. BKB last one alive. He goes down, and the boss is stolen by Na'Vi. Tyrael doesn't even explode on anyone, and NaVi now can push in to the core. They're just going to run straight past the keep.
Everybody went for damage. Nexus Frenzy on Vala, a double rewind, one on Tyrael, one on Tyrande and the other one on Muradin, and it was enough for sure. This is game number 1 ending in favor of Team NaVi. Great game by them, 17 kills against 4. They take down Virtus.pro and are now in the lead in this best of 3 series, the Road to BlizzCon qualifier number 2. Game number 1 ends in favor of NaVi. The team takes it on Cursed Hollow, and once again, of course, the boss fight's absolutely crucial here as well. But already interesting to see that we're having Virtus.pro starting to commit to new stuff again. They are one of the teams that for the longest time have been innovating the European scene. Back when they were still called Team Arthurs, they kind of invented that quadruple blood for blood style. Blood for blood, of course, saw some changes afterwards, but they were the ones to really popularize that burst composition with quad blood for blood. And in this case, they're going for the Ring of Frost on Jaina. They're experimenting with the talent that got a huge cooldown reduction and try out to really make something new happen here. They lost the game though and are down 1 game in the best of 3 series, meaning that they have to win it now to force a 3rd game. We are on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We see them again with Jaina. They're using her once more. We have a Rhaegar in their midst. There's also a solo tank. In this case, it's an Anubarak. They have even a Zeratul together with a Tyrande here, so a little bit of an out of the ordinary composition, relying on a solo tank. Nubarak also not the hero with the most hit points in the game, but let's find out what exactly they're trying to do here. NaVi, they find themselves in a really good spot, and they have a Johanna, they have an Uther, they have a very nice setup here with good damage healers too, and a Zebo and a Vala amongst others. So in this case, let's find out if NaVi can take the 2-0, or if suddenly Virtus.pro has something up their sleeves that allows them to take the game and force the 3rd map of the series. The second game, the best of 3 series, starts on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We are at the Road to BlizzCon qualifier, and it's still NaVi versus Team Virtus.pro. And currently NaVi in the 1-0 lead after the victory on Cursed Hollow. We have them to the left side with Splendor on Uther, JPL on Zebo, Alex the Frog on Johanna. We have Eternal on Vala, and Schwimpy on Muradin. To the right side of the map, this time with a single tank composition, BKB on Anubarak. Virtus.pro took Tyrande away from the setup that we're seeing for NaVi, since it would have just been a bit too much stun, and they like to play the hero with the damage build. Unstable is using her now, and Andilendi on Jaina, with Kuni-chan playing Zeratul and Sevka on Rhaegar. Interestingly enough though, we only have one of these heroes with a seasoned marksman, so Zeratul decided to instead go into the self-sustain with the Regeneration Master over the extra damage.
The Regen Master does allow him to dance around these fights a little bit more, and just that doesn't mean he's missing out on a bit of damage, but Tyrande may be able to counteract that with her Hunter's Mark. And like you said, she has gone for that seasoned marksman build. And interesting here that Virtus.pro is starting in the top lane as opposed to the mid lane.
Yeah, so they're starting to go for a bit of a counter rotation here against their opponents, trying to get their stacks in. We have so many of these stack talents again, especially on this map, of course. It's absolutely great to use them, since it is a very small map where you can rotate between lanes quite easily to get the additional stacks, no matter if it is for Seasoned Marksman, Regeneration Master, or Conjurer's Pursuit. Either way, both teams are trying to capitalize on it now, and especially when we're talking about Virtus.pro, we're going to see exactly that. Tyrande with a damage build, and Virtus.pro is actually one of the teams that oftentimes goes into that Hunter's Fury talent that we've been talking about in the past quite a bit on level 13 for the hero. So if they really feel that they need the added damage on Tyrande, they might consider using this one instead of going for a potential sprint to reposition the hero during team fights. It all depends exactly on how the game goes up to that point, but this could definitely be a great game.
Johanna taken down already by Virtus.pro, and that does give them first blood and control over that middle turning point. But now though, they're just going to continue pushing in this mid lane while Zeratul soaks in the top.
Yeah, Zeratul is going for a few of the globes up at the top lane. If you go for Regeneration Master, it's actually not a talent that is very common on Zeratul for a pretty simple reason. Zeratul players really love to go, or loved at the beginning to go into the talent when they gave up on first aid on level 7, when they started to change the builds. But now, most of them just said, well, hit points is not really our problem. We are running into mana problems more than hit point problems. So having that self-sustain is great, but you oftentimes end up in a situation where you have full HP. Potential kill against Alex, yeah, they get it. whether you have full HP on Zeratul, but you don't have the mana, and then I have to go back either way. So that's why oftentimes Zeratul players just go into Seasoned Marksman on maps that allow for the talent and try to get the damage in, then move back to the well when they're running out of mana or hit points and go back into the battle.
A large amount of bullying happening to Alex the Pro G on Johanna, which is basically the opposite of yesterday, where it was the Muradins that we saw taking most of the punishment.
Yeah, Alex the Pro G, he's the new Red X. Getting beaten up, getting bullied. But yeah, he died 2 times already. Both of the kills were against Johanna. And, I mean, taking down Johanna in the early game twice in a row, that's pretty impressive. So virtus.pro really utilizing that Tyrande that they have in their midst, now with Searing Arrows as well on level 4. We also have a very, very healing-focused build for Sevka, who went into the chain reaction, which is actually pretty cool, especially if you're trying to keep your tank alive, and there's only a solo tank for the team, so it makes sense to actually use these talents.
Yeah, we're seeing Zeratul come in here, did get stunned up by Splendor, and having to back up Alex Pro G, trying to get unstable, but with the healing from himself there, he's actually able to get out. Jaina has actually gone for the Snowstorm this time, and on this map, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, there are so many small corridors that if you have the extra radius on Snowstorm, you can hit so many heroes depending on where exactly the fight takes place. There's a slightly an experience that we're also seeing for virtus.pro, and it's still a very aggressive mid and top lane, but you can see every now and then heroes rotating down to the bottom to try to get maybe an easy kill against Rhaegar or Muradin, but both of them have been playing a very safe match so far. So it's a pretty good start into the game, very aggressive, a lot of like small fights here. I like it.
JPL attempting to turn in, but runs into BKB and is forced to back up. Bit of a scuffle going on over the bottom turn-in, as Kunichan does have 17 coins and kind of wants to not have those anymore.
Yeah, especially on Zeratul. Zeratul wants to go deep, and you always play a bit risky. Zebo, by the way, talking about risk, has been taken out here. He threw down that zombie wall and shot BKB, but ended up dying in the end. So at this point, we have 3 kills against none in favor of virtus.pro. A very different opening into the game from what we've seen on Cursed Hollow on map number 1.
Yeah, very, very different, especially in terms of talents. Like a Nubrax gone for a more standard, does still pick the Bed of Barbs because it is still very viable and very good for interrupting turn-ins. Sevkaja does get a nice turn-in, and that is enough for the Web Weavers for virtus.pro.
virtus.pro with the first set of Web Weavers moving in. Oh, and I'm liking it. Look at Rhaegar here on level 7 deciding that cleanse is not needed in this case, and instead he just goes into the forward momentum, which is basically a version of battle momentum where you have a lot of a great cooler increase, by the way, on your basic abilities, but it doesn't help you with your heroic. So it's a pretty cool talent that you sometimes take if you want to get the perfect amount of healing numbers out there, and since he will have to keep BKB alive, that's what he's trying to, but at this point he's actually in trouble himself, dying at the bot lane against Eternal and Shrimpy.
Yep, down goes Alex the Pro G again, unfortunately not able to keep himself alive. We do actually have a Toad affinity talent coming in from the Nazebo, which reduces the mana cost of his Toads and the cooldown by 1 second for each enemy hit.
Pretty cool builds at this point indeed. A lot of adjustments to the map and also to the playstyle, also to the compositions, with a single hero tanking at the front line and having another melee assassin in the game. And Rhaegar wants to get as much healing out as he possibly can, using, of course, on level 4 then also that chain reaction, which is actually a great talent for that purpose. Once he gets his level 13 and 16 talent, he can even increase that. A lot of sniping going on the map as well, with JPL at the top lane trying to soak some experience for the team. And down here, we're having another attempt on the side of NaVi to rotate over and maybe take on the Siege Giants, or at least kill Tyrande if they get the hit.
Valor taken down by the roaming squad again. virtus.pro getting so many snipes here. Currently 5-1. Alex the Pro G once again the target, but he's able to dodge every stun. Finally stunned up. JPL though not going to be so lucky, as Kunichan able to burst him down.
Yeah, Kunichan bursts him down, and the Siege Giants at the bot lane are currently taken out as well. So virtus.pro tries capitalizing on the fact that they've been able to dominate that early game with 6 kills against 1, the first Web Weaver set, dropping a few of the towers, and they find themselves in a position where level 10 is now in their hands too. So they use Ring of Frost again, and Bloodlust! With a cool road introduction, we have Bloodlust used by Rhaegar. Another good reason for him, of course, to go straight into these healing talents, since he already knew from the start that he would not rely on his ancestral healing. We have Bloodlust reduced cooldown by 30 seconds from 2 minutes to 1.5.
Well, a lot of apparently cooldown reductions are enough for Virtus Pro to just start using stuff. I dread to think what they do with Abathur. Just Ultimate Evolution every single game. But yeah, Ring of Frost and Bloodlust, 2 times we do not see very often at all.
This is going to be super interesting now, especially with Tyrande going into that auto attack build.
Oh my god.
If she gets Bloodlust and goes into Hunter's Fury as well, which at this point I'm not quite sure anymore if she does, but if she does, then oh my god, she's gonna be like a machine gun.
I think that's the second most amount of max attack speed you can get in the game. Maximum amount is Tychus, but I think Tyrande has second and third. I used to know. Oh, we're seeing Anubrak getting stunned up here. Does still have Burrow Charge. He's able to get out.
And we have the Ravenous Spirit, by the way, on the side of Nazeebo, not going to use Gary the Gargantuan. This is going to be a fun team fight. I cannot wait for Bloodlust.
Yes.
We haven't seen it in ages, and now the talent is suddenly back and back with a vengeance. I am super happy about that. Teams are currently looking for a potential angle for the engagement here, but so far nobody's really committing.
Yeah, they're looking for their chance here, and Chan does get so big straight into the enemy team here. Here comes the Ring of Frost. That is a good Ring of Frost this time. And we're seeing, wow, not as if...
Bloodlust, pretty good!
Bloodlust, pretty good. I have no words for that. Wimpy in full retreat here. I have a word now. It's absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They just got Anubaraked, and hard at that. We had a pretty decent Void Prism at the start too, and then the Divine Shield making sure that the Strafe on Vala went through completely, but it didn't really matter. With that forward momentum on level 7 on Rhaegar, he just got enough healing power in to keep them alive even without the Ancestral healing, and Bloodlust allowed especially Tyrande to just go completely ham. They wrecked 3 more heroes in that fight, won the battle, took down the fort, and are now just inches away from getting level 13.
Okay. JPL chasing away Chan here with the point-blank Ravenous Spirit. Unfortunately, Ravenous Spirit does not last long enough to attack the Web Weaver.
Yeah, but I actually think that was a smart move by him, because if not for that, I think he would have died. He died a couple of times already to Zeratul, and he had to do something there. We have the level 13 talent, now another healing talent for Rhaegar. And I mean...
Chan.
JPL!
Again.
I'm really liking that build on Rhaegar. It's of course a build that is very... I wouldn't call it innovative, because, well, at this point, forward momentum is a talent that we don't see too much, but if you really think about what they're doing here, using Bloodlust, not using Ancestral Healing, and also playing a single tank, he has to get as many of those healing chain waves out as he possibly can, and that chain heal is going to be amazing once he hits the level 16 talent. So this is a very cool build that they have now, and this is exactly catering to what we said earlier. Virtus Pro is just one of these teams, they invent shit, and they run with it, they drop teams, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I still remember when they were trying to make Gazlowe and Thrall a thing on this map, and it backfired horribly, but so far this comp is working out for them.
They also have some incredible talents on level 13 to synergize with this. The Assassin Blade on Zeratul as opposed to Wormhole, 25% auto attack damage for 5 seconds after coming out of Cloak, and the Huntress's Fury, like we said before, on the Tyrande, 40% attack speed for 4 seconds.
Oh god, like, in team fights, if you get the proper team fight set up, this team composition is gonna wreck, of course. But the one thing that you have to consider is that we are going to see and Navi to try and disengage from these fights. Not fight when Bloodlust is up, not fight when these things are happening, trying to dodge it, trying to spread out so that the Ring of Frost doesn't hit properly, or maybe at least get a good spread out there from the start and make sure that Ravenous Spirit does the job while Blessed Shield stuns everybody out.
Void Prism coming down from Zeratul, setting up, and maybe they want to try and engage onto this. BKB looking for a tunnel, but everyone's a bit too spread out for that to be worth.
We have level 14 versus level 12, nearly 13 for Navi. It looks like Virtus Pro is thinking about going boss, and they are doing exactly that. They can drop it, they have that burst, just look at the damage that they have here. If they go for all their talents, Tyrande is not even with them, and they already have the boss at half health after just like 2 or 3 seconds, and now with Tyrande actually coming in too, there's just no way that boss is gone. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's a very cool build, and we said this so many times. Virtus Pro with the innovation here, and that's what they're trying to use to win. They've now found Alex the Prodigy again. Alex the Prodigy looking for the kind of counter-engage here. JPL once again getting focused by Kunichan, who is already out of there.
The Toads of Hugeness, a talent that of course combos very well with the level 7 talent that we've seen here on the side of Nazeebo. So Nazeebo builds already changing a bit. Usually it's the thing of the deep that you see on level 13 these days for Nazeebo players, but that's also mostly when they are going into standard talents on 7 like the Gitbin. With the boss now pushing the top lane, there's a lot of space that was created, and that allows now Virtus.pro to take down the web weavers that just spawned for their opponent, and that will also give them level 16.
Yeah, it will give them level 16, and that is now 3 levels ahead, about to be 2 levels, but 3 levels ahead of Navi here. Imposing presence still being taken by Anubarak. True Shot Aura coming in from Tyrande as if they needed more damage. Northern Exposure as if they needed more damage from the Jaina. Stone Skin from Zeratul as he is directly in the fight the entire time. And Rhaegar continuing along that healing stuff with the tidal waves.
Rhaegar is going to get a fair amount out here. I mean, just looking at his heals at this point, he has 11,000 heal compared to Uther with also 11,000. That is without his ancestral healing. That's even without the talent that he just picked up on 16, and this is where his healing is of course going to spike thanks to the cooldown reduction. But the fight is already starting down here. They're starting to move in, but they're very spread. Unstable needs to be careful. Here's the Bloodlust already used. Unstable in the backline is trying to turn around once again, and they're going straight for Alex the Prodigy while having a Void Prism hitting Muradin. Oh, just in the last second, the Divine Shield helping out Johanna here in the Revenant Spirit, but they get the kill against Vala, and that's an important one as now Johanna drops as well, and that momentum is completely shifting again in favor of Virtus.pro.
And that was so many members of Virtus.pro completely low, but Sevkaja with that incredible cooldown reduction on his heal, just keeping everyone healthy. Amazing job there. That is a 3 for 0 for Virtus.pro from what was a kind of wobbly situation where Unstable nearly died.
He got 5,000 heal in that last fight. That's 50% of the heal that he had before throughout the entire duration of the game. Pretty incredible numbers. That 16 talent, of course, helping Virtus.pro a lot, but as you already pointed out, when that fight started, it didn't really look too good for them. Tyrande was on half health, so was Zeratul. Now they have to move back. They used all of their mana in that last battle, but they got their kills, and it's 12 kills against 1, and Navi is with the back to the wall now.
And that was a very good use of Bloodlust there. People seem to forget that, well, Bloodlust does give a 30% movement speed buff. So it was used there to allow Tyrande to back out of the fight and reposition, despite the fact that she was shrink rate. It just gave her the chance to reposition, and that allowed them to turn around and re-engage safely.
And now they were able to turn in again with another Web Weaver set ascending. Kunichan is already jumping in. He has no wormhole in this case, so he needs to be a bit more careful. He walks up, hits a few times, and then just blinks out of there. Waits for the cooldown to be ready again and for the rest of the team to arrive, and that includes the Web Weavers. They are trying to push their advantage now and take down a keep, and that's exactly what they have to do. Run with these advantages. They know that there's no 16 talent yet on the side of Navi, and that is the one opportunity that they have. And Navi isn't even trying to defend this. They already realize we cannot defend the keep, there's no way. So instead, let's just try and take the other Web Weavers out as fast as we can so that we don't allow them to take more than that. But Virtus.pro doesn't even care. Virtus.pro is saying like, that's good, cool with us, we're gonna go for core.
That damage, the Bloodlust has been popped. They're just bursting the core. Sevkaja keeping people happy, but down goes Tyrande, but down goes the core. 3 people sacrificed for that, but that is GG, and the score evened up to 1-1.
Holy Bloodlust, Batman. That's something that I haven't seen in a long, long time, and I'm happy that I saw it. Ring of Frost again, but this time Bloodlust on Rhaegar. A 30-second cooldown reduction in the last patch made it possible to use Bloodlust again, and Virtus.pro, they did it. What a great game. This match was amazing. This was absolutely stunning. Loved every single second of it, and that Bloodlust composition just caught Navi completely unaware. Navi had, like, they had their pants down. They had no idea this was coming, and they got stomped into the ground in a few of those fights when they started to snowball. Very well played by Virtus.pro. The series therefore tied, and well, we have the final map coming up, and it is Garden of Terror. And this time we're even seeing a Carrigan. Alex the Prodigy is playing his Carrigan. He joined Navi in the tank role, but of course before that he was one of the best Carrigan players that we had on the European server. He had to switch his role slightly, but in this game now they can rely on him again as the Kharazim player. We have also the Rhaegar again for Virtus Pro, but this time they're running it with a composition that doesn't have that much auto attack potential. A Kel'Thas there, also Zagara. The last game, the last map, which team is going to advance here at the Road to BlizzCon qualifier? Is it going to be NaVi? Is it going to be Virtus Pro? Let's find out together in Garden of Terror. Game number 3, Garden of Terror is the map, and the series is of course tied. This best of 3 series is going to be decided on this last map, and we're going to have NaVi going up against Virtus Pro again. And the Russians proved on the last map that Bloodlust is pretty good now that the cooldown has been reduced by 30 seconds. We're seeing cool comps in this particular match here now as well, with NaVi to the left side running Splendor on Uther, JPL on Vala, Eternal on Jaina, Shwimpy on Muradin, and Alex the Pro G gets his carry again. He's back to business on his girl. And to the right side of the map, the opponent's team, BKB running Johanna for Virtus Pro, Kuni-chan Tyrael. We have Unstable on Kel'Thas, Andilendi on Zagara, and Rhaegar played by Sevkaja once again.
Starting off... Oh, go on.
I was actually just waiting for you, but yeah, Sharpened Blades on level 1 with a 20% extra damage on Kerrigan. Alex already getting a bit aggressive here.
Yep, sorry about that. You usually add on a little bit extra at the end there. But yeah, Sharpened Blades, the increased damage, so a little bit of burst to start off with. As we've already mentioned, you don't have to take that increased range on the Primal Grasp of Kerrigan at level 1 anymore, as it doesn't exist. It's been added into her basic kit.
Exactly, and that is awesome for Kharazim players. We've been talking a lot about the new shield talents that we could see on 7, 13 and 16. They're extremely strong to keep Kharazim alive in the later stages of the game and give her sustain. Talking talents, we have Demolitionist taken again on the side of Zagara here. So this is another talent that they are trying to use to just raise down structures as fast as they can. And we are down at the bot lane seeing a battle between 2 tank players with Kuni-chan and Shwimpy facing off against each other.
Come out a bit ahead on this one. The shield of Tyrael will help him trade a bit, but Shrimpy does come out with that health regen and has reverberation, which is going to negate a lot of Tyrael's damage.
At the top lane, JPL now just playing it as safe as he possibly can. They all know that Kerrigan is somewhere on this map, and Alex the Pro G is an exceptionally good Kerrigan player. He was for the longest time part of Team Nihilum and was their Kerrigan player, and just showed in every single game where they were able to draft him together with an Uther how strong Kerrigan can really be. But now in the new patch, Kerrigan is of course played for the first time, at least in games that we cast, and it's going to be fun to see how well he uses those new talents.
JPL able to get away from the bit of a chase there thanks to his Hatred passive able to just give him enough movement speed to escape. This does mean he can't really go for any of the seeds in the top lane, as his team is all busy in the hiccups in the mid and bot lane.
Yeah, okay, with the Iron Skin he gets away. Johanna moving away for now. We have at the top lane again a couple of seeds taken here as Virtus Pro moves in with Andilendi and Unstable to drop that big Garden Terror. Johanna actually taken out. Yeah, Iron Skin was still on cooldown and apparently she wasn't ready for that second jump by Alex. So Kerrigan already paying off here as still seeds are taken in this case up at the top lane. Level 4 talents now in play for both of the teams, and for Kerrigan that means that we're still seeing Envenom on level 4.
Yeah, it is still a nice amount of damage. Valor also snuck in and stole just a couple, but was still able to steal some of the seeds from the top lane. Kuni-chan going to be teleporting in to try and steal some from the bot lane. Eldarin's Might is on cooldown though, and because of that, he does get taken down and will explode on the Terror here, giving NaVi a bit of a hand finishing this off.
Not quite sure why he would do that. Like, jump in again into 3 stuns. That is a little bit suicidal.
In exchange for what, like 12 seeds, I think he got at the end there.
I'm not quite sure if it's worth it, but that was an easy killer for them right there. I mean, it was, I guess, the seeds that denied them a plant, so probably he's still going to be happy with it.
Yeah, I guess. 10 out of 10 worth. Andilendi taking quite a bit of damage here, having to back up, but Eternal cannot continue chasing thanks to the Hunter Killer. Kuni-chan spots Alex the Pro G here, but turns onto Andilendi. There's the Envenom, but Alex dropping very low here. There's the Living Bomb. And Splendor, his heal on cooldown, will not be able to finish him off. Then he does!
Zagara escaping at first, and then she wants a bit too much, moves in and tries to show Kerrigan who's the real queen here. As it turns out, both of them die, so it's still a tie.
Yeah, it is still a tie.
Didn't see that one coming, huh?
No, I did not.
The level 7 talents are now in play for both of the teams, and we have again a very, very healing focused build on the side of Rhaegar. I love the build that we're seeing here for Sefkaja. Using the 4-1 momentum with the extra cooldown reduction against basic abilities, not the heroic, but a full second for every single attack. It's pretty cool if you want to get those chain heals out, and especially once you hit the tidal wave on 16, you can basically just continuously heal. It's just like a stream of healing waves coming out of Rhaegar then later on, and that's going to be sick for his teams in team fights.
Yeah, and when you combine that with the chain reaction talent he has and the healing surge, he gets a huge amount of actually focus healing on a single target, as well as the healing amount is increased by 25% from that chain reaction, and I believe it's another 25 or a 50% from the healing surge.
Yeah, we have, by the way, at this point, it's another 25% if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
As we are currently seeing, we have battle moment taken on Kerrigan. Now there is a shield talent that you can actually take, and it basically allows you to have a lot of mana and hit point regeneration. For some of the players, it's one of these things that they prefer because they are running out of mana with Kerrigan too much. Alex, in this case, decides to go into the battle momentum, which on the other hand allows him, of course, to get his combo out a lot more often during those fights. And yeah, he's already getting those shields now. At the bot lane, Shrimpy in trouble, and Kuni-chan is jumping the wall again with his Tyrael. He is not passing up on that kill.
Yeah, both Kuni-chan and BKB, when they play this Tyrael, just like really willing to follow up on a kill. It seems to work out pretty well for them each time, though. Tyrael, though, does have the amplified healing talent as well, which is going to seriously help with this particular Rhaegar build.
I'm loving this game already. I mean, it's the third game between the two teams. We have the final map, and I just love how they adjust to the new patch now, how we are seeing so many additional talents or different builds. Even Rhaegar, in this case, going into that healing build again. It's very unlikely that we're going to see Bloodlust with the composition that they're playing here, but still a completely different build from what we've seen so far in Heroes of the Storm for Rhaegar, getting the additional heals out. We're having some adjustments made also by other heroes, and Kerrigan, seeing her back in the game is always fun, since she's just a great hero if you are in an observer position. Very annoying to play against, on the other hand.
Yeah, this build does mean that Rhaegar is missing out on Cleanse, and there are a lot more stuns on the side of NaVi than there were last time. However, Sanctification may be the answer they're looking for that, which has been taken by Tyrael.
He does it again!
Well,
wow!
Zagara has work to do.
Zagara is the only hero really that has a ton of auto attack damage, but I mean, Bloodlust doesn't give you also the attack speed increase, but it's also that movement speed increase, and apparently that's something that they really value highly here. I would have bet money on Rhaegar not going Bloodlust in this case, since they're not running a Tyrande, a Vala, any hero like a Falstad as well that relies heavily on his auto attack damage, but instead it's now a potential giant killer even on Zagara. I mean, at this point you could go completely crazy.
Yeah, you can go very auto-attack focused. Like, Zagara already does have a auto-attack talent in the form of Envenomed Spines, which is a nice talent in general. But it is interesting, like, it's obviously going to help with Tyrael, because he has the battle momentum. And I'm quite surprised Johanna didn't take battle momentum for that exact reason. Yeah,
but we also see now the new Sanctification as well, which is also going to be fun. As I said, I'm loving this game. We're going to see so many things here. Good rotations from both of the teams. They're still both on level 11. We're having now with the heroic abilities on the side of Team NaVi also. Pretty standard talents with Maelstrom, Avatar, Water Elemental, Over the Ring of Frost that we've seen actually twice today already. Strafe and Divine Shield. So yeah, this is going to be cool. This is going to be a really fun game. It has been so far, and this is just going to continue.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favourite series we have had in this tournament, just due to the incredible talent picks. BKB being chased back quite aggressively here, already taking a huge chunk of his health, and he already has a lower duration on his plant terrace. Needs to be very careful. Zoning Phoenix, though, from Unstable, will halt this push for a little.
Yeah, and Sefka with those heals that he has, still in Wolf form up here. Nice drop against BKB's plan. That was a very nice move. Dropping that early on in hit points was extremely important here for NaVi. And now they have a bit of an advantage, but for how long? Alex is low on his own plant as well, but drops another pot. Goes deep into the fight. Strafe has been used there, but already cancelled out. They're going for the kill against Johanna though, and they get it, and Alex jumps in with a stun combo against Kel'Thas.
Kel'Thas having to back up here. He will escape here barely. So now they turn on to Kuni-chan, but Kuni-chan also able to escape. Kuni-chan used his Sanctification on the other side of the fort, so his team had to back up out of it, and as such lost the Invulnerable.
And now we have Alex and the rest of the team moving away from the fort. They didn't take the fort down. And in experience, we still have a tiny lead here on the side of Virtus Pro. But still, both of these teams just exchanging kills now, very aggressive with their stance in the game. And Eternal now trying to soak some more experience for his team down to the bot lane, as we are having a full rotation of Virtus Pro trying to attack him here.
Yeah, Virtus Pro want to try and find the good engagement here. There is the Elderman's Might, gets a slow Eternal, the Phoenix for extra damage, and in comes Johanna for the final condemn to lock him down.
Level 13 talents now, and we are seeing more healing for Rhaegar, imposing will for Tyrael, Burning Rage, and we have Mutalisk, Chain Bomb of course for good old Kel'Thas. I mean, you need that talent if you really want to capitalize on the level 7 that you have. And now we are also seeing the 13s here coming in with the increased Ravage range by 40%. So that is actually something that I personally find a bit odd. I really thought on 13 at least he would go for the shield talent. The increased range is nice if you want to go full deep with your hero. And in that case, I think it would have even made sense for maybe Uther to go into reach on level 1, because Kerrigan is going to go really deep with this one.
Yeah, quite possibly. We're seeing Johanna try to take down this Bruiser camp right now with the help of that Knight takes pawn. And just going to knock those down, but gets locked down by Shrimpy. Axprody getting the pull in, and Johanna wiped so quickly there, and the follow-up engage with JPL dropping a lot of damage onto Seb.
Yeah, Alex jumping in right now, but gets Maud. Here comes that Sanctification. Didn't really help too much, but would have if the Maud didn't take out Kerrigan already before that happened. I really think that it's also interesting that JPL went into a Frost Shot on level 13, because with the Kel'Thas on the opponent's team and the way that they've been playing this, I really thought that he would try and head straight into a Spell Shield on his own to make sure that he isn't taken out by one of those bombs. We had Jaina dying again, by the way, in the meantime, and Stefka with a quick Bloodlust here to get away. They were apparently afraid that they would get jumped here by the entire team.
Yeah, JPL showed there they had no idea how many people were behind him, so giving that movement speed when they were already slowed by the Water Elemental gave them a little more room to work with. But does mean the Bloodlust will be down for quite a while now.
Yeah, a lot of things to talk about really here with all these talents that we are seeing. And I mean, we've been mentioning these builds already in the last game a bit, at least when we're talking about heroes like Rhaegar. For now, it's the battle of the seats though, and we have only one plan in play at this point, and it is Alex the Pro G with the melee assassin running it again. Yeah, up at the top lane, Johanna is in trouble. There's nobody to heal her. Now finally starting to move in again by the Polymorph, and Johanna is dead. Kuni-chan is in trouble too. Everybody's rushing away, and Sefka heals himself up in the last second before Alex is able to drop him, but Tyrael is not so lucky. Tyrael never lucky here, moving in and exploding on the plant, and that's the only thing that he could get off. But the rest of the team with the rotation to the top is at least attempting to drop enough seeds so that they can get a plant on their own.
I find it quite interesting that Tyrael keeps exploding on the plants when his team is nowhere near to pick up the seeds. He's just speeding it up for NaVi here.
Yeah, and well, NaVi is now moving up to the top lane, because you could really tell that Kel'Thas and Zagara didn't really know what would happen there. They didn't know where the heroes for NaVi were positioned. Did they move to the top? Are they still trying to take down the bot lane? So in this case, they're just like moving over now, taking the second plant as well. There was only 10 seeds that they needed. They didn't get those. And now it is going to be a second plant for NaVi. That was very, very cautious play by Kel'Thas and Zagara, and I can completely understand why, but I think in this case they needed to risk at least to take 10 of the seeds, because now they find themselves in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, they need to try and do something to try and get their advantage back here, as they are already quite a long way behind. And Virtus Pro just going to start with their own mercenary camps just to get some pressure on the bot lane, as that's the only one they have pushing.
Kerrigan, by the way, like most of the teams that I talked to so far when we are mentioning Kerrigan and the new build for her, were agreeing that they really like to go into a shield talents later on, and not necessarily into the one on level 7, but on 13 and 16 it's very tempting to use one of them. Alex here though decides to not use a single one of them, so it's not for him about the assimilation shield in the slightest. He's just simply taking advantage now of the additional range with the Eviscerate on level 13, and he uses the extra damage on level 1. Besides that, he's sticking to the old school Kerrigan build, and is also doing a very good job with that. I mean, we've been talking about him being an incredible Kerrigan player also in the last patch, and he's just showcasing that once again. So he really comes through for the team right now. Now we have also level 16s again in play for Virtus Pro, and that's the chance or the time where they can maybe make a play.
Yeah, they have pretty much every ability they need to try and get a good turnaround in a fight. The Holy Ground for the area control, Zagara with the Mutalisk and Brood expansion for that single target damage, and Rhaegar is at his maximum healing potential without his level 20s.
Yeah, just giving you a bit of an idea, Rhaegar has currently 18,000 heal compared to the 19,000 that we see for Uther, and he just got level 16, so from this point on his healing numbers should increase immensely. We're gonna keep tabs on that. For now it's a battle in the mid lane actually, as another fort is being attacked by Team NaVi.
Johanna trying to just do anything here to try and maybe get a good angle, just zone a bit, but this fort is definitely going to go down. As for DB getting some really good Spore Queen's curses off here.
Yeah, again, Condemn here by Johanna moving in. Also, Eldrun's Might being used. Shrimpy is not hitting anything with that Storm Bolt. Hits the wall and that's it, but that's what they're trying to take down. And Alex, with his plant, is delivering a lot of siege damage. Always just Johanna moving out again. Stuck in that Polymorph bug, by the way, so for the rest of the game, he's going to be called Polymorph. No, he's back.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Polymorphed again.
Yeah, I need to get polymorphed again, and then he drops out of it. 90 seeds against 50, but now it's a 2-level lead that we are already seeing for NaVi. They are playing this really solid. Look at that! They actually don't even defend. They're saying like, okay, screw this, take the fort. We're going to take the one in the middle. We need to get something out of this at least.
Yeah, NaVi not expecting that. They were all set up to try and trap them when they came down to defend, and instead they actually don't lose a fort for this, but they might be able to catch out a couple Virtuous Pro members here. We're going to see them more used on the Valor here. In comes Alex trying to get the stun. Doesn't really land on anyone, instead gets stunned himself. There's an Divine Shield to keep him alive though, and he chases onto Andy Lendy.
Bloodlust use, Phoenix on the ground, and they're moving in, but most of the strafe already went through, and they're jumping in again with another kill against Rhaegar. Johanna is down now too. They get a third kill against Kel'Thas, and this could be an entire team wipe. Kuni-chan is dead, and so is Zagara. All of them taken out, and the fight actually didn't start. They started really well for them. They isolated a few heroes with them all, but that gravity lapse on Kel'Thas does not hit Muradin, and therefore they didn't get the chance to take down the isolated warrior at the front line. Very nice play and coordination by NaVi, and even that last-ditch effort with Bloodlust did not come through for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, and the Bloodlust is... It worked out well for them in the first game, but this game they just don't seem to have people to work with it. Like, they don't have that kind of auto-attack damage on anyone except... Well, not so much damage, but they don't have auto-attack potential on anyone except their warriors.
It's definitely true. I mean, we had Tyrande with an auto-attack build in the last game where they used it. We had a Zeratul in their midst as well. And those are just heroes that rely heavily on their auto-attack speed, and therefore it makes so much more sense to go into Bloodlust. In this case, the only hero where they can really capitalize on the talent is Zagara, since she also has, with the Envenomed Spines, one talent on level 4 that helps her, but she didn't go into Giant Killer here, and nothing else. She went into a normal Spellcaster build, so Bloodlust is mainly used for speed in movement here, not so much that they can capitalize on the attack speed itself.
Yeah, nice stun by Shrimpy there, preventing anyone from Virtuous Pro roaming into that Terra area to pick up the last 10 Cs they needed for their own Terra. So instead, once again, NaVi have a Terra on the board for another minute and a half, and another 130 seeds in the back, ready for when this one expires.
They didn't get a single seed because they all just got killed before those seeds appeared on the map. And now we have the level 20 talents, we've already shown them. Nexus, Frenzy, Chosen, for example. Redemption now, it has to be picked before you die. You cannot pick it anymore in ghost form. You have to do that before you actually die, or it won't apply anymore. So players picking this a lot faster now. Alex is moving into the mid lane. I mean, there's no way to save the keep there. Just absolutely no chance, especially with level 20 versus 18.
Yeah, so they're going to be NaVi just moving down to the bot lane now. They're not even going to dive the core because they know they have another full Terra after this. So they're using this one for harassment, for sieging, and then they can go for some kind of full engagement with their second Terra after the defenses have been weakened.
Yeah, they're trying to move in against keep number 2 right now, but Alex is already low on the plant and gets gravity lapsed once again. Should be enough damage to take him out of it, but maybe he can turn around and catch somebody out. Nah, they're not going for it. They're not overextending here. There are so many camps on the map that they can now get because they have the map control. 12 kills against 4. A super solid game by NaVi.
Yeah, NaVi have been very much in control of this game for almost the entirety of it. They're once again pushing it into this bot lane. They want to try and get another keep out of this, or at least get a kill ready for the next Terra.
They have the siege giants now, so they can just siege up here with those giants and let them do most of the work, heal them up again if they really need to. And this is what they're currently trying to do. They know that the plant is now ready, so now they can move back. They already did some damage, pushed the opponent back, and they just need to make sure that there's no level 20 for their opponents before they really go for the next keep kill.
Yeah, anyone on Na'Vi who needed health and mana has gone back to base. The rest just clearing waves, making sure they don't get caught out. Jaina playing quite far forward, but does have Bolt of the Storm and Splendor with her. So if she gets caught out, she can either bolt or be Divine Shielded. And now here comes the rest of Na'Vi with the Terror and the entire team just barreling down the mid lane where there is no keep.
Khaldor should be able to really get a lot more damage in now, since he has already all of the talents that he needs for it with that Living Bomb focus that he's using as a build, a very common build for Khaldor now after the patch. They're moving in and they're just going straight for the core, as it seems. Alex is starting to hit it. Here comes the Phoenix. Bloodlust already used. They're trying to drop a few of the targets, but Unstable in the backline is already in trouble, using his own shield now to get away. But Zagara was dropped and there's just way too much pressure. Alex is dropping the shields of the core and this looks like it's going to be game. Virtus Pro is not going to be able to win this one. 3 heroes already down. That plant alone is finishing the match. And this is a 2-1 victory for Team Na'Vi, advancing to the next round of the tournament here at the Road to BlizzCon. Congratulations and well played by Na'Vi. Na'Vi take the game. They win on Garden of Terror. A 2-1 victory for them now in this best of 3 series. And Virtus Pro again committing to Bloodlust, but this time they didn't really have that auto-attack heavy setup that would allow them to capitalize on the talent itself. Of course, they still have the movement speed that they can use to chase down heroes that they can also use in the fight to gain momentum, but they just didn't have those damage dealers like a Vala, Falstead, Zeratul or Illidan that heavily rely on their auto-attacks. It didn't work out for them, but it's always a pleasure to watch Virtus Pro experimenting with new things. Now they're trying the Ring of Frost, they're using Bloodlust. Didn't work out against Na'Vi, worked well on the second map, but on the third map, the decisive map, it didn't really give them the edge here. So Na'Vi making use of the Kerrigan, taking down Virtus Pro, and they advance in the loser bracket now of the Road to BlizzCon qualifier. Great play by them, great performance, and congratulations of course to the victory. If you guys enjoyed the commentary, make sure that you give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. We had great games here. I hope that you liked the matches as well, and especially the team compositions that we saw here. If you want to make sure that you don't miss the next Road to BlizzCon matches and also, of course, the upcoming Enter the Storm playoffs, then hit that subscribe button and make sure that you get those notifications. And at the same time, though, I hope that you enjoyed the series in itself. I hope that you tune in for the next few rounds that we have. And guys, have a great day. I hope to see you soon on the channel and enjoy your week. Bye-bye.